Hello everybody, my name is Kyle Lee, aka Kilo Loco from kiloloco.com, and today we are going to be going over CloudKit. More specifically, learning how to save data to the cloud. So saving to the cloud is what I called it. Whatever. Tools that we're going to be using today. Xcode 9 Beta 2. Not necessary. You can still use your Xcode 8 if that's what you're running. We're going to be using Swift 4, but all the code is essentially the same, so Swift 3 is fine. And obviously CloudKit. This is a very straightforward tutorial, in my opinion. All you really need to know are the Swift language basics, and just know how to follow along. So let's get into it. Oh yeah. Alright, so as usual, we'll be starting off with a brand new project. And let's get this going. And we'll open up a new project. And guess what we're going to do? Single view application. That's right. We're going to call it Saving to the Cloud. Alright, call it whatever you want. But you should already know that. Alright, so you know where I'm going to store it, in that KL Learning folder, because that's where I learn ya, and I'm going to create it. Let's go ahead and get this sizing up. Bam, bam. Alright, so we want to get our simulators up and running. We don't have one, so I'll get that running. Alright, first thing we're going to go over to do is we're going to go over to the main storyboard. I'm going to start laying out some of this storyboard stuff while the simulator's running so that, we could kill two birds with one stone here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make it your typical table view. We're going to be saving to a table view, and then we're going to also be just adding in data. So all we really need is a nav bar, and there's our simulator. We can go ahead and stop that now. Want to put in our nav bar, right? Navigation bar. Throw that in right there. For some reason in the beta it doesn't go to the top if you change the size, so I'm just gonna leave it looking kind of funky. Hope that's alright with you, because it's alright with me. And we are going to add a bar button item. Throw that item in there. We're going to make it look like a little sexy plus sign. So turn it to a little sexy add sign. Yeah. Bam. Sexy. Alright. Next we go over to the not navigation, table view. Table view. Okay. And you've guessed it. Guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna pin it. Somebody needs a lot of attention, so they put a huge muffler on their car and revving up all kinds of crazy. Alright, so we're gonna keep it very basic. We're not gonna do anything with the table view cells, nothing too fancy. We're just gonna keep it as basic as we can get it. So we'll run that, make sure that that's coming up. And while that's working, we'll move over here to our view controller. Alright, so we have our table view. Okay, here it comes. There we go, see? Looking pretty schmancy. Whoa, you see that glitch? Whew, that was kind of weird, huh? Alright, so what we're going to do is the way that we're going to add stuff in here is going to be through a UI alert controller. So we got to have actions for that, and then we also need to be able to reference the table view as well, I think. But we'll get there when we get there. First, let's get going with the action. So app IB action. We'll do a week. Didn't spell that right, so let's make sure that's a capital A. Week var, and we'll call this. No. What am I doing? IB action func, right? On plus tapped. Okay, so when we tap that plus, what should happen? Little alert controller should come up, right? All right. So let alert equal UI alert controller. I'm gonna start this up, initialize with the title. We'll say type something, and we'll just say that we're gonna be saving notes, right? So what would you like to save in a note? And the preferred style, you guessed it, alert style, baby. All right, we want to have an input field on the alert, right? So what we'll do is we'll do alert, if you know how to spell. Oh, Kyle, why are you doing this? You're doing it too small. There we go. Sorry for those of you that are on the phone. You know that I usually catch it. Maybe not right away, but I usually catch it somewhere in the video. All right, so we're going to add a text field. Bam, 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 field. All right, so now in the add text field, we have access to that text field and the properties that we want to manage with it. So only thing that we'll do is we'll change the placeholder for the text field. So let's do that. So text field dot placeholder is going to be equal to type note here. Sure, why not? Okay, so now we have an input field. Now we need buttons in order to control the actions once the user, does input, right? So we obviously need a cancel action. So cancel. Oh no. Let cancel equal UI alert action. All right. And the title will be, you guessed it, cancel. Style will be, you guessed it, cancel. And the handler will be, you guessed it, nil. Yep. Let we'll say post, right? Equal UI alert action. We're just gonna do the same old thing, right? Right. Let's get this out the way. It makes it look better. There we go. Doesn't that look so much nicer? It sure does, Kyle. All right. I don't want to have to fill this all out by myself, so we're gonna do that. Title will be, dang it, I keep doing it. Post. Style will be default. Handler will be, won't need access to the actual action, so we could just put an underscore right there. What will happen on the post will be when we're actually trying to post something into the cloud, to CloudKit. So we're gonna leave this as default for right now. We'll just say print here for the time being. Actually, you know what? We need to access our alert text field, so we'll actually print whatever's in the text field, right? So guard let text equal alert dot text fields dot first dot text else return. So if there is text, we'll just go ahead and print that. All right, so now what we have to do is add those actions to the alert. So alert dot add action. We'll add our cancel, and alert dot add action, and we'll add our post. Yeah, and then all we have to do is, are we in a closure? We don't need self. Yeah, we don't need self. We just have to present that view controller, which is our alert, and animated, of course, because we like pretty things. Duh. Hello. Okay, so now what we have so far is just whenever we press post, it'll print out. We have an input field. That's cool. We also need to get these extensions going for the table view, though. So let's go ahead and get that going. We're just doing all the setup right now. Nothing wrong with doing the setup. Got to do the setup. It's part of the project, right? Right. Table view data source. Data source, there it is. All right, so number of sections, bam, return 1. Let's get some rows down here. Okay, number of rows, return 0 for right now, and cell for row at index path, we'll do let cell equal UI table view cell, your default cell. We'll just return that cell. And then we also want to say we're gonna eventually modify this cell to have text in it, right? So we might as well just do that right now. So cell dot text label dot text is equal to just a blank string for right now. All right, so we have everything set up. We're gonna want to make sure that we have our data source connected to our table view, and I think that will be it for the main setup. Real simple stuff here, guys. So data source, right? And then we want to make sure that our action is connected as well. We need access to the table view outlet, so let's go ahead and make that as well. So at IB outlet, weak var table view, because we got to reload that thing. UI table view, there it is. Connect it. Let's connect it. Alrighty. Now where are you? If I could find it. If I can find it, there it is. And we're all connected. Alright, let's run that. Make sure that there's nothing wrong. Should be good so far. So didn't do anything too crazy yet. We're just gonna get ready to get this whole adding stuff to the cloud going. When we do this, bring something up, we'll say blah blah. We'll say get out the way so that we can see stuff, and we'll say post, and we got blah blah. So looks like everything's working. Perfect. Now comes the part that you actually clicked on the video for. CloudKit. All right, so how do we get set up? Well, first thing you want to do, go over here, capabilities. You're going to go to iCloud. You're going to turn that on, right? Key value storage? Yes, please. CloudKit? Yes, please. We're going to use default containers. Yes, we are. And we're going to jump over to the CloudKit dashboard. Going to open that up. Just let it wait. You're going to sign in. Bam. You're going to get a notification. Allow you to just type in the same password that's right there on your screen. Interesting two-step verification if you ask me, but hey, by all means. You're going to say done because we're done. You're going to continue as you would expect. You're going to wait for CloudKit or the cloud dashboard to open up. It's going to look a little bit different if you've done this before. You're going to go over to whatever bundle ID you would expect it to be. So what do we call ours? We called it saving to the cloud. We've got to look for that bundle ID. No, yes. Click it. Bam. All right, we're in development. You're going to play in development. So we're going to go over to data. Yes, we are. So now you can see all the data that you have access to. You can see your record types, indexes, subscriptions. This is for notifications and stuff, and security roles and stuff like that. Now by default, there's automatically a user object in here which you can use. So if you're just interested in creating users, you can do that. You could look at who's authenticated. You could give them their permissions, whether they can read, whether they can write. Say who the creator is. They can write, but they can't read. Stuff like that. We're not gonna be dealing with this too much. We're gonna be making our own object, which you most likely will be. And once you know how to make your own object, managing this will all be the same, essentially. So we're not going to start with anything in here just yet, but we're about to get to it in the code. So when you make it in the code and you actually post it, everything will be initialized up in the cloud from that first post. Yeah. You'll see how it changes. Let's get into it. Let's take a look at it. All right. So this is where we want to, you know what? Let's extract that function and just, put it somewhere else. So func save to cloud, right? And we'll say note. And this note will be a string, right? Because we're going to take the text, we're going to pass it into here, and then it's going to save that string, right? So what we want to make sure is obviously that your capabilities, you have it enabled, right? It should have made this entitlements for you. If it didn't, try unclicking it and then re-clicking it, but you need this entitlements for it to work properly. And then last but not least, you need to import CloudKit. Bam. All done. All right. So when we're going to save to the cloud, first thing that we have to do is we have to specify what kind of record that we're going to save. It's going to be like, this is essentially like the users is a record. It's kind of like an object. It's similar to an object. And we have to save something to that object that's up in the cloud. So we want to save a note. So what we're going to do, let me take a look at my notes to tell you about how to save notes so I can make sure I show you guys this correctly. First thing we want to do is we want to make that note, or that record. So let new note equal ck record, right? And then we're going to initialize this with a record type of type string. Now, you could get really into it. You can specify what kind, like record IDs, and this will help you segregate your data from itself. Like if you you want to be extra cautious in the way that you store each of your objects in the cloud. But we're going to keep it really simple today, and we're just going to go with the record type. Man, I keep doing that double quotes thing. Okay, so what we want to call it is note. That's going to be it's the same thing as user, like how we saw it back in the CloudKit dashboard. Ours is going to be called note, so we want one of those. From the new note, or we'll just call it note. I don't know why I have it as new note. Note, and then we'll do note.save, or no, hold on, what is it? Note.set value. So we have to set value, because remember that CloudKit, it only takes the main types of data values. Like if you worked with core data before, it's only the main types of data values. You can't use Swift objects, at least from my understanding. I've tried it and it's given me errors. I don't know if I did it the wrong way, but you, from when I tried it, you can't save Swift objects. You have to save like strings, integers, booleans, things like that. So the value will be text, right? Or the note that we want to save. Oh, that's why I called it new note, because this one's called note. So new note, right? We don't want to have any overloading or any weird errors going on. So we'll have new note, and then we'll pass in our note, which is that string right here, for key. The key that we're going to save it as is going to be, we'll just call it content. You can call it whatever you want. You just have to remember that you're going to be referencing this. So make sure you choose a key that you would remember. You could call it like payload, response. You call it data. I've seen, whatever you want to call it. But you just have to set a value. You just have to remember to keep that. Okay, from there, we're going to need to frequently reference our database. So what we'll do is we'll do let database equal ck container dot default dot, and this is where you choose what kind of database you want to use. Now you're going to want to say either public, shared, or private. Now it depends on what the object that you're going to be using is and how you're going to be using it. If you want other users to be able to access this data, like they won't, it's not necessarily like hacking. It's like think about it like Twitter, right? If you want people to be able to see other people's tweets, then you'd make it public because everybody wants to see those tweets, right? But if you do like private is more like your own personal stuff, like if you were keeping a diary type of thing, right? And shared is like, from my understanding, it's you can specify which users can see it, but it's not completely open to everybody, right? So only like your friends can see it or something like that. You can specify the rules. But since we're going to only be taking notes and you don't want other people to see your notes, we're going to go with private. You guys do whatever you want. I'm going with private. Okay, so now we have a reference to our CK container, our private database. And with that, what we'll do is say database.save. And we're going to save, what do we have? I mean, you can see which one, you can see what you can save. You can save a subscription, which is like for push notifications. You can save a CK record zone, which, like, once again, it's a way to break up the different objects that you have stored in the cloud. But we're just going to save this simple record that we have called new note. So we're going to save a record, pass in our new note, and completion handler. You guys already know me, right? Record, right? But error. Kyle doesn't do error handling in his videos. You remember. So remember that they usually come back as optional. So record's optional. So we'll do a guard let record whoa, I'm about to spell out equal record else return. All right, so now we have a record, and if we have a record, then we're not going to really do anything with it. There's a few things you can do. You can kind of like look at it and see like things like this: creation date, creator, user, record ID, things like that. You can access some of these properties if you want, and that would be to make your app more robust. But we just wanted to make sure that it wasn't equal to nil. So what I'm actually going to do is do this is not equal to nil, right? And if it's not equal to nil, then that means that we were able to successfully save that record. Guard record. No, I'm right. You're wrong. All right. No. Actually, I'm wrong. My bad. You were right, Xcode. My bad. If we were actually able to successfully save a record, then this will actually have a value. Therefore, it won't be nil, and therefore we can just print out saved record with note, and I have to actually put this in parentheses, and we'll say record dot object for key, and then we'll just say content, right? I mean, essentially you could do that. I'm just gonna put, that should be fine, whatever. Or you know what, that's just too much. We'll just say saved record, right? So let's go ahead and try this out. As you can see, it's not that much. I mean, realistically, the CloudKit stuff that I've done so far, what? One line there, 2 lines there, like 6 lines here. Real simple stuff. This is my note. This is my note, and we were not able to save. So we have to go back and look what happened. So let's go ahead and print our error, if any. And find out, hey Kyle, what happened? Oh, well, that's probably what happened. Kyle, you so dumb. Didn't pass it into the dang thing, guys. Why didn't you tell me? Oh, you did tell me. You just weren't listening, Kyle. Oh, my bad. My bad, guys. I didn't mean to ignore you. Got to call the function if you want to use the function. I was like, man, it's real simple. How did I mess something so simple up? Alrighty, so we're up and running. This is a different note. Post it. Nothing happened. Why didn't nothing happen? Okay, so let's see what the error was. Print error. What did you do, Kyle? Why did you break it? Like, man, I don't know. Okay, so we save the text. Bam. We're saving set value for key, and then we're saving that. Save something, man. Optional, not authenticated. This request requires an authenticated account. Alright. So, says we're not authenticated, right? So let's go ahead, refresh this bad boy. I should be, oh, you know what? I might not be signed in. So I didn't sign in. That's why I'm not authenticated. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I had to skip so that you guys can see my password. But yeah, I wasn't signed in, so obviously wasn't working. So we have to go in and make sure that everything's all signed in and squared away. Look at this new keyboard. Isn't it so fancy? Alright, signing in to iCloud. Don't merge. No. We're not doing all that today. Alright, there it goes, guys. So make sure that you are signed into iCloud, because you do have to have a iCloud account or a me account or whatever you want to call it. You have to have that @me or @iCloud account to use iCloud/CloudKit. So now when we go back to saving, go back to our app. And then let's make sure that we're still running. So we'll go ahead and restart the simulator. Make sure that everything's good and golden. It's a good thing that you guys saw that, because you know, you gotta know these things. You wouldn't know these things off the bat if I didn't tell you, maybe. Or maybe you would. Maybe you would. I don't know. Alright, we're gonna save. Let's see what happens. Are we gonna get an error, or are we gonna get a save? So saved record. Bam. Okay, so now we go back over to our records, right? Nothing right here. Got to refresh. Bam, you refresh and let's see what happens. If your internet works. We'll see. All right, it finally reloaded. I don't know why it took so long. That was kind of weird. All right, so now since I'm using this device, I can see any private records that are for me under this account, which this account is tied to my Apple account, right? So when I do query, as you can see, it already knows note, right? Users and note. And if you want to see the record types, you can see user, which is a default type, and then our note. This wasn't here before. I think also in security rules it'll show note. See, that wasn't there before. I made that. So let's go back to records, and what we're going to do is we're going to query. We want to query the database and see what we got in there. So query records. There's a problem querying the note type. Field record name is not marked queryable. Enable the queryable index on the fields in indexes section. Well, it tells you exactly what to do, guys. Go to indexes, right? We have to make sure that we go to note, right? We're going to add an index. We're going to open this little drop down up. Record name. Make sure it's queryable. You can change. You can't. Well, you can't change. Some of them have different options, like the content. You see how it has queryable, searchable, sortable. You can access all these different things. Right now, we're just going to do record name. So we'll add that. Oh no. We won't add another one. I'm sorry. It's already added right here. But make sure that you do save record type. Go back over to records. Now, when we do query record, should work. All right, look at that. Bam. Content. Maybe you would. Hey, that's what I said. Yay, we got it. Okay, so now that we're saving, right? Now that we gotta throw a little apostrophe up in there. We're saving. Now what are we gonna do? Well, we have to actually be able to reload that data, and it takes a little while. It's not as fast as some of these other services that are out there. Now that we're saving, we have to be able to query from the app. We don't want to just query from the back end, right? That makes no sense for us, or maybe it does. I don't know. But we want to be able to query. So what we'll do is we'll create a different function called query. Funk you up. Uptown funk you up. So query database. Bam. Right? And what do we want to do when we query the database? Well, we have to make a query. So let query equal CK, guess what? Query. And we are going to initialize this with the record type. Bam. So if you remember, record type that we want to access is note, the one that we made, or if you wanted to do users or whatever you saved, you just type it right on in there. But we want to query the note. And for the predicate, we'll just do ns predicate. You press enter on that. You're going to initialize this with a boolean. You're just going to say true. Right? That just means that ns predicate, I don't really fully understand it, to be honest, so I'm not going to BS you, right? But the way that I understand it, it's a way to it's not necessarily like a sort, but it's a way to specify how you want to access the data, kind of. And all we're saying is that from my understanding, all we're saying is that note, that it has a record type of note. So we're just getting everything back from our private database that has a record type of note. So you're getting back everything, right? Right. So now we have to do database, our database, right? And we have to perform a query. So what we'll do is we'll pass in our query. We're not segregating our data or our records, so we'll just pass in nil for the zone. And then for the completion handler, we have CK, an array of CK record, right? So that'll just be called records. And you guys already know, Kyle don't do it. He doesn't error handle in his tutorial. So guard let records equal records, else return. All right, so now we have our records. Now we actually have to pull the data out of those records. So what do we have to do? Let's see. So we want to access these records, and then yeah, we want to put them in a different array so that our table view can access them, right? So let's just call them notes. We'll put it up here, right, underneath our database. We'll have var called notes, and this is just going to be an array of strings. And then we'll be able to access our records, get the notes, and yeah. Actually, what we'll do is we'll do it as CK records, CK record, right? This way we could just pass in the records, save them, and then we'll be able to access everything that's in that record. So essentially, it'll be acting like an object, a data model, right? So we'll do self dot notes is equal to records, right? And all this is done asynchronously. So that means that we're not on the main thread. So when we call refresh, we have to make sure that we do dispatch. So dispatch queue dot main dot async. And then we're going to do self.tableview.reload data, right? Because now what we're going to do is we're going to let these, I spelled that wrong. We're going to let these notes populate the data in here. So now that we have an array, we could do notes.count, which makes sense, right? And then what we can do here is we'll do notes index path dot row dot value for key. This is already getting ugly. I'm actually put in something else. So we'll call the key. Remember, we had it as content. Make sure you spell it right, or else there won't be anything. As string, and we'll just call this a note actually. So let note equal this. Feeling kind of crazy today. Force unwrapping. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, so now we don't need this. Get out of here. Who checks for errors anyways? Right? Okay, so now we're saving our notes up here. Bam. Right? or yeah, whatever's in there, we're saving up here, and then we're also reloading the data so that this will be updated and this will be updated. So now all we have to do is query the database eventually, right? So we'll do that on view did load, query database. Let's go ahead and try that query out. Let's see what happens, guys. Should work, might not. You know, Kyle, full of errors. Okay. Oh, well, hey, look at that. Now that you're saving. All right. But one last problem. When you post, nothing happens, right? So what we'll do is when we save something, we'll also query. Only problem with doing this is that that CloudKit isn't super fast, so this may not work. I can try it here and show you in the tutorial. I just want to show you it right here because it'll give you an idea of if this is a good practice or not. It generally isn't because it takes a little bit of time for CloudKit to update. But let's try it. So post it. See, it pulls, but it's trying to do it so quickly that nothing happens. So if I do it again, watch. See how it added it? Let's try it right here, but the other one wasn't added. That's because it takes a little bit of time for CloudKit to update. So what we can do, and this is not necessarily the best thing to do, but we'll just do a pull to refresh on this table view, and that will allow us to at least see if our table view is updating. So in our table, we'll do let refresh control equal UI refresh control, and we'll do refresh control dot attributed title is equal to oh wait, it's a attributed, so and it's attributed string, and we want to do it with a string, and we'll just say pull to refresh, and then self.tableview.refresh control is equal to refresh control. Oh, and we also have to add a target, duh, or else it's not gonna work. Add target. Self selector. We want to do query database, and then value changed. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. We're just adding a refresh control so that we can pull to refresh and then look at it. What's going on right here? Hashtag selector. Not exposed to. Okay. It's interesting. I guess you need this Objective-C. So this is the Swift 4 part, I guess. All right, let's do this. Swift 3 didn't have to do this. Swift 4, they just want to make sure that it's safe. Objective-C, bridging, blah, 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 stuff like that. All right, so did I take it out of the other spot when we added it? Yeah, I took it out. So, yeah, I took it out. Bam, saved it, pulled to refresh. Takes a little while. Oh, you know what? Did we even do it? Oh, well, first we have to do self dot table view dot refresh control dot stop or animating. What is it? I forgot what it was. Begin refresh, end refresh. There it is. So make sure that we can actually have it go back up when it's finished updating, right? This time I'll just put in numbers so that it's easy to see which one it is. So let's do this. And we'll post, right? Saved record, pull to refresh, bam, right there. There it is. All right, so one of the things that you might have noticed is that it doesn't put them in order necessarily. See how it goes in the middle? So what we have to do is we actually have to sort them. And we do that right here. Where is it? Where we actually do the query. So what we'll do is we'll do let sorted records equal, or no, wait, we'll do it with sorted records equal records dot sort, and then we'll just say, and remember that each record has a creation date. So dot creation date. So let's see what's going on. Yeah. So now when we do it, oh, no, hold on. Sorted records. All right, so now when we do it, I believe it will be in the correct order. Produces. I don't know what that was, but it worked. Okay. So now we'll get the most recent one up top. So the most recent one will be the greater date, and the less recent one will be, like, the older one will be the lesser date. So hello there. And now when I pull to refresh, it should be at the top. See? If I wanted to go in the other way, then you can do it that way. And yeah, and that's all you really have to do. Saving stuff, guys. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy. Lemon squeezy. Easy. Oh, well, remember that it's kind of slow. But yeah, pretty easy. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Last thing I will do is, I haven't done this before, but let's try to save this on GitHub right from the nav bar, or whatever this thing's called. What is it called? See? You don't have to know all this stuff. Yeah, navigator. The navigator. It might not work. So, while that's doing whatever the heck it's doing, let's go over to GitHub. Let's do it. It's taking a while. I don't know why it's taking so long. Didn't take that long at WWDC, now did it? Look at all this stuff working like normal, which is good. We just want the source code, source editor, or whatever it's called. Alright, it doesn't look like it's going to work this time, guys. We'll just do a new repository like normal. Make sure that you guys have access to this stuff. CloudKit saving to the cloud. Bam. This is the code from my CloudKit tutorial. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. I hope that made sense. I hope that you got to see the new CloudKit Dashboard or iCloud Dashboard, whatever they're calling it now. And I hope that made sense. I know that I kind of drag it out, kind of do stuff, takes a little bit longer than most people, but you know, if you're a beginner, you can do this now. See? I think that it provides you with a valuable skill because maybe the company that you work for wants to use CloudKit. It's a little bit slow, in my personal opinion. I'd prefer to go to Firebase. That's me. But, you know, sometimes you want to just stay in Apple, and I completely understand that. I'm an Apple fanboy myself. And I wanted to just use everything that's Apple, but sometimes, you know, things that Apple puts out, they aren't the best. CloudKit, what did I call it? Saving to the cloud. Okay, so git init, git add, or no, remote add origin, git pull origin master, enter in your password, git pull, oh no, git, I already pulled it, right? Add all, git commit am, finished saving to that cloud. Also, another reason why you would want to use CloudKit is because it's cheaper than other ones when you start scaling, I believe. Actually, I have to relook at those pricing. Actually, scratch that because I haven't looked if they changed the pricing structure on it. But it used to be cheaper than most other services when you start scaling. Yeah, there are more limitations though, so just keep that in mind. So kit push origin master. Did I already? Yeah, push origin master. And then we put in a password. And it's pushing, and it's pushed. And we refresh. Bam! Right there. Available for you guys. Alright, so if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. This thing's still not working. I don't know why. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward in my personal opinion. And yeah, reach out to me on Twitter, reach out to me on YouTube. Let me know what type of videos you want to do. Every weekend I do one video of something that I know and one video that you request. And it may take a little while to get to your video, but I promise I will get to it, and I'll do a long detailed discussion like this, and hopefully it'll be step by step so that you can follow it, implement it in your project or whatever you need to do, and break down some of the pieces that go along with it. So if that's the type of style that you like learning from, then yeah. If not, you can check on my YouTube page. I have links to all the other, well, not all of them, but a lot of the other Swift YouTube channels, other developers that are, you know, they have a different style than I do, and maybe that style will fit you more, so go ahead and check them out too. They're great developers too. I think that's all I got for you guys. I have something special for you guys coming out in the middle of July, so make sure that you guys subscribe to this channel so that you can be up to date with what I plan on putting out there for you guys. I think it'll be you guys are asking for a couple of different things, and I've been listening to you. I read every comment that I get. If I don't get back to you right away, I'm sorry. I just get busy with the family and everything. But yeah, I think that's all I got to say for you guys. Check out the Slack link. I think it's finally automated. If not, then, you know, send a message to me and I'll try to get you in. All right, that's all. That was CloudKit, saving data to the cloud. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. And as always, make sure that you are always coding passionately. Yeah, there you go.